having somebody keep you accountable is really important. And most businesses fail because somebody's not there to keep them accountable, right? Whether it's just a husband-wife business, whether it's just a business with multiple employees, someone's not holding someone accountable. And that's where it really gets really like sticky, because if you don't have somebody holding you accountable, you're probably not going to do what you need to do.
And we're off. Welcome everybody to the Commonwealth Connections podcast. This is your host, Dawson Fields, with my co-host, Weston Wilson, as always. And today we have Jeremy Collins in the studio today with LevelUp Consulting Group. I don't know if you want to give a brief kind of overview of what that is before we kind of go back and then run through the whole story.
Absolutely. Glad to be here, guys. So, LevelUp Consulting Group, guys, was created ultimately we originally started to help real estate agents, individual real estate agents, to grow their businesses. That's what it was started for. Things have changed a little bit, and now we have two main focuses. One, help real estate agents grow their business, get a better ROI, reach their goals. We also help brokerages retain agents, retention of agents, that also grow their business as well. So two parts, but obviously we help the brokers, it helps the agents. And so our goal is a couple of things. We actually just put out education, tools, resources to really help agents understand how to grow their business, and I'm more of the marketing technology side of things. So we're not so much the real estate like technical stuff. We're more of, I can help you grow your business. And so that's what we build our business on.
Right. Yeah. Awesome. And then, I think I'm excited to dive into how you help agents, but then I feel like anyone listening to this will also probably I'm fascinated to hear, as maybe a buyer, right? What are agents actually doing on the back end a little bit?
Oh, yeah. I love it.
Other than, just go show me a house, right? Like,
there's so many tools and resources now available to the public that it's kind of scary. But the problem is agents just don't show their value enough. And we talked about this earlier, is that, off camera is, agents just have to show value. And that's what the world we're living in. And just like you that own a business, you that own a business, working in a business, running a business, you have to show value consistently. Right. And many times agents just fall short in showing their value. And I'm sure we'll talk more about, kind of what they do, what they should be doing, right, to grow their business.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's dive into that in a minute. Let's get a little bit of backstory on you. Where'd you grow up?
Sure.
Typically, we kind of talk about like the first job or where'd you go to college, and then we kind of just roll your story from there of what got you to where you're at today.
Love it. So I'm an Eastern Kentucky boy. I grew up in Paintsville, Kentucky, which is about as far east as you can get.
I don't think you said Paintsville with enough accent.
Paintsville. So I'm trying to grow out of it, man. It's been a couple of years since I've been there. And so, I still got the really hick accent. When I do my weekly live workshops with 2,400, 2,500 agents, it's always like, oh, I love your accent, especially the new members. I love your accent. I'm like, do you? I don't know. And so I grew up in Eastern Kentucky.
Yeah, just real quick, this reminds me, the other week I was helping out UK students coming back. I was helping out K-Week volunteering some events. And I meet this girl that had the thickest accent. And I'm like, let me guess, Pikeville. And she was like, close Paducah.
Close enough.
The funny part was, I was like, what's your major? She goes, speech therapy. She said she's going to help people not talk like her.
I love that. It's a great goal. I've tried to lose my accent for years, and finally I just said I give up. I've got it. Let's just roll with it. And so, I grew up in Eastern Kentucky. My father was a coal miner, right? That's just what they did. And so, work ethic was a big deal for me. And so we ended up working. I used to work in, when I first got into high school, I used to do a lot of technology marketing stuff. I used to sell computers outside of my dorm room. I was really kind of that nerd that I made money growing up doing all kinds of different stuff. And so after that, I was into I was big into 4-H. I was big into, organizational wise 4-H. So I ran summer camps for years, and then met my wife in Lexington. And so at that point in time, I was selling mattresses. So that was my first big kind of job. I was a mattress salesman. And so I did that for almost 6 years, something like that.
Where?
Mattress warehouses and Sleep Outfitters. You probably heard both of some of those. And so we ended up helping open some stores out in Louisville, did that kind of stuff, moved back to Lexington because I hated Louisville. It was disastrous. It's just the place I hated it. For those listening in Louisville, I'm sorry.
No offense to Louisville listeners.
No, not at all. And so we moved back to Lexington, and from there I worked full-time ministry. So somehow I ended up in ministry work. And so I had no plan to work for a church. That was not on my goal. But worked for a church for 11 years. My wife and I were children's pastors. So we were able to really minister to people. And that's where I really knew about relationships, where I grew with relationships. And I also got a business knowledge from working in a church, because I had to learn Facebook marketing. I had to learn video, because we did a big video every single week for the church. We had learned all these new skills. And so from there, we took that into marketing, and I ran my own marketing company for several years.
What church?
Beth Harvest Church. Worked there for there about 11 years. Currently, we go to Calm City Church. That's our home church. Fell in love with that. And, we're always looking to serve. I think that's just a passion. And so from there, after God called me out of the church full-time ministry, we started business. Honestly, I was scared because I had no idea what the frick I was going to do. I did that for 11 years. And so God had basically brought me a real estate agent, and a friend of mine that said, "Hey, I struggle with marketing. Can you help me?" And I said, "Sure, I'll sit down and help you." And then that took off. And so I worked for a brokerage for almost 7 years. Worked for a brokerage helping train agents on how to market and how to grow their businesses. And then 3 years ago, I launched LevelUp Consulting Group to help real estate agents grow their business full time and never look back.
So you worked for a brokerage company.
I did.
Just that one full time. And then you decided, hey, I want to make this bigger.
Yeah. When I was working at that brokerage, it was Remax Creative here in Lexington, Kentucky. Worked there for almost 7 years, but I had the opportunity to speak across the United States at different venues because of that position I was in. So I was pretty good at teaching and educating and training agents on how to grow their businesses. So I would speak at conferences across the U.S. and that's where other people started like, "Oh, Jeremy, you need marketing help, go call Jeremy." And so that's where it really kind of blew up, is when I did the speaking stuff, the national level speaking stuff.
Right.
And so that's when I was like, "Oh, I've got an influence. I can start a business." And so LevelUp Consulting Group was built. And so now we currently serve, 45, 46 brokerages, 2,500 agents across the U.S. And so every week we're just training new agents and figuring out how to grow their businesses.
That's awesome.
Were you ever licensed as a realtor yourself, working for, or just the marketing side?
Just the marketing side, yeah. So I've actually passed the classes. I'm ready to go. Took the classes. My wife and I took the classes. We both passed the classes. But it just... Could I probably, and this maybe just me arrogant a little bit here, probably, I could probably go in and I could probably go do real estate today. And because I know how to do the back end, I know how to, lead generate. I know how to grow businesses, and it just never had the passion to do it myself. But I get excited when an agent comes to me and says, "Jeremy, I grew my business twofold this year because of the things you taught me."
Right. That
gets me excited.
You're a helper and you're a teacher. You're not.
No.
Yeah.
I love when, I get on phone calls with broker owners and agents and they get excited about something I shared. And I'm like, "Oh, that's what I was built for. I was built to help other people grow what they want to build and grow their own, and ultimately that grows what I want, right? It grows my business to where I feel passion. I feel excitement. So like every day, and agents make fun of me for it, but I get excited on my workshops. I'm like, "Guys, I can't wait to share with you what I got for you today." And, it may become over aggressive to some, but others are like, "Wow, he's passionate."
Right.
And I think that's what helps the business grow fast.
What wakes you up in the morning is helping other people, not exactly helping them find a house.
It is. I mean, I'll wake up and I literally at 6 o'clock in the morning, I'll wake up and run to the living room and write down on a sheet of paper exactly what I think would help Eric Jones, who's a real estate agent in Dallas, Texas. And I'll think, "Oh, I've got an idea for him." And I'll write it down. And then when we meet one-on-one, I'll share the idea with him. He's like, "Oh, that's genius." And he'll go push it into his business. But that's what gets me up every day.
That's awesome.
Well, that's helpful because you're coaching, right? So it's not just the tools, and you're being a motivator to them.
Yeah. And I think, you look at overall, said we all need a coach. And I do believe that. Like we talked off camera a little bit that, having somebody keep you accountable is really important. And most businesses fail because somebody's not there to keep them accountable, right? Whether it's just a husband-wife business, or whether it's just a business with multiple employees, someone's not holding someone accountable. And that's where it really gets really, really like sticky because if you don't have somebody holding you accountable, you're probably not going to do what you need to do.
Right. I mean, that's applicable to so many things. So many things, but there's a section of the public that will be like, oh, big corporate America. And it's like, well, they decided to do the hard thing and do the right thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. Yeah. And the strategic thing or whatever. And they kept doing it and they were able to build bigger and build bigger and build bigger. And yeah, they did that.
Yeah.
And if it was that easy, everyone would be doing it. If that discipline and that resilience and that hard work ethic was that easy, then everybody would be able to do it. And so everybody doesn't do it and doesn't have that discipline. And so typically, sometimes it boils down to the knowledge, and there's mentors you can filter in, or coaches or whatever you can filter in to help with that. But typically it's just people know what to do. It's just doing it consistently long enough to see the result.
And I think that's the biggest key is, across the board where I work with so many real estate agents from different brokerages, different, they all get taught differently. But ultimately, most agents knows what they know what they need to do to grow their business. They do. But they don't grow their business because there's nobody holding them accountable to grow their business. And that's the hard part I'm working with their each individual business owner, right? So I don't know how many agents, there are 4,000 or 5,000 agents here just in this little area, right, where we're at. And you think, oh, and then the numbers are, 10% of those agents, the top 10% of the agents, that's who's doing 80% of the deals. Okay, we have a problem, right? So either we're not being held accountable for everyday actions that we should be doing, or we don't know what to do. And that's the two camps people live in. And so my job is to, one, educate them on knowing what to do. And then I can help remind them what to do every single day if they want me to. And so I think agents know that they will fail if they don't do these certain things all the time. But they'll go 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and then they're in a slump, right? Because they didn't do what they needed to do.
Right.
And that's across any business. It's not just real estate. It's any business owners that way.
Right.
Yeah, crazy.
Yep. It really boils down to just doing the right thing over and over and over and over. And you hear a lot of people talk about it. If you want to keep employees, you need to stay in communication with them and stay checked in with them. So there is like a diminishing return on how often that is. But, if you don't meet with your employees once a month and talk about their job and figure out how everything's going, see if they need anything from you, blah, 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 then your employee retention probably isn't going to be very good.
And I think it goes down to the same thing you're saying. It's just the same thing. It's the fact that, as a business owner or real estate agent or restaurant owner or whatever, if you're not constantly getting in front of your people or reminding them what you do every day, what are we doing? Right?
Right.
It's our job to, I've got a database. Let's say, for example, I've got a database of about 60,000 agents across the U.S. That's my database, right? And I'm constantly reaching out to them to see if they want anything to do with me, right? And so if I'm not constantly reminding them, they're going to forget about me.
Right.
And so it's just, in real estate's the same way. If an agent is not consistently reaching out to their sphere, and it could be daily, it could be weekly, it could be monthly, it could be whatever. It's not their job to remind them or remember what you do every day. It's your job to remind them all the time what you do and how value you can provide them. Same thing, like restaurants. If I get I would never visit a restaurant just off the fly, maybe. But if I got a reminder, I like that restaurant. Let's go there this week, right?
Right.
And if it's all about being the timing of this. And I think every agent, every business owner is the same way. It's, are you meeting the time, getting them at the right time?
Right. Have you thought about branching into, and this might be a little ahead of the conversation, but have you thought about branching into other sales kind of services that there's a lot of them. So there's a million real estate agents, there's a million insurance agents, there's a million
mortgage brokers.
Right.
I've got 14 mortgage brokers that are in my membership.
Right.
Like, I don't promote to mortgage brokers, but they're in there because they learn the video tools. They learn the edge. Because the same thing I provide to my agents, every business owner could utilize.
Right.
They just have to flip it to work for their business. And so, I think that, yes, I think it definitely, I've got mortgage brokers. I've got a restaurant owner that's in my membership. I've got a med spa owner that's in my membership.
Yeah.
They're nothing to do with real estate, but they pick up on the marketing stuff we teach.
Right.
And I think that in general, we just have to listen more. We have to say, oh, I need to learn more, right? Especially with the world changing so fast.
Right.
With AI's coming into play, right? I'm a huge AI guy. I just spoke like 20 times on AI in the past 6 months. And if businesses aren't looking at the opportunities that these new technologies are advancing and helping with, we're going to be left behind. Like, I could take your database list and I could put it into an AI tool and it would pull out the top 20% of people I need to reach out to this week. It can do that now. And so we talked about this earlier, is that brokerages and agents, and they're behind the times by 3 years. Like, if we talked about AI today, an agent may start implementing maybe 3 or 4 years down the road. That doesn't work anymore. We have to be on it more and more. And the only way to do that is get educated.
Right. Because, and I heard somebody kind of describe it this way, AI today, and the invention of that is kind of similar to like the invention of like the internet and the computer. So we've seen what's happened from the the invention of the internet and the computer over the last 20 years. And
we've seen that in the past 3 years.
AI is going to do that and just blow it up, so.
I agree, man. I think there's so much you could do. And it's not just AI. It's basic foundations of business. Like I tell agents all the time, I'm not going to teach you something that's going to be like, oh, I didn't know that, right? I'm going to teach you something that's going to be foundational that most business owners know, but I'm going to teach you how to use it with a modern twist. So I'm going to teach you how to use your CRM. They probably know how to go in and send an email or send a text message. But I'm going to show you how you can use it with a modern twist and let it do more work for you than what you're typically doing. Like I've got one agent that we set them up automated. So literally they added somebody new into their database. So let's say they just met you brand new. They added you to your database. Within 3 days, you have a postcard sitting in your home from the mailbox because you got added to the database. You have a text message 7 days after that automatically gets sent out. That is a video text message saying, welcome to basically doing business with me. Like, that's the stuff that we should automate. Because there's no way in heck I'm going to remember to send a postcard out if I add you to my database just on my own. I do 20 million things a day. There's no way I'm going to remember to do that.
Right.
And agents wear 40 hats a day. They're doing inspections. They're doing open houses. They're doing basically negotiating their own contracts. They're doing all this stuff. There's no way they're going to remember to send a postcard out or to send a text message out or to remember that it's your birthday last week, by the way. You know what I'm saying? They're never going to remember this stuff. So we have to set up systems and processes. And that's what LevelUp is all about, is helping businesses and owners set up systems and processes that will help them in the future.
Yeah. So when you left Remax, started LevelUp by yourself, we kind of asked, what was day one like? There wasn't,
it was scary.
You don't have you're not a restaurant, so it's not like you had a day one doors open. But what was the thought process behind going on your own, and what was it like? Has your structure from when you started kind of the same?
So it was awesome. So with Remax, it was a little different because the owner was fantastic. Like literally, I started my membership before I left them, and so and by the way, they're still a member of ours. So literally, they're still getting education tools that we're training. They still get it because they're still a member of mine. But when I stepped away from that and did full-time LevelUp, it was awesome because literally brokerages started reaching out to me because I was available then, right? Because before they saw me as someone that works for a brokerage, right?
Right.
But when I stepped away from that and promoted, hey, I'm going to help any broker. Anybody that wants me, I'll help you. And then it's floodgates opened. So I think the first 2 weeks we had 12 or 14 brokerages reach out.
Wow.
And it was like, and that's when I looked at my wife. And, sometimes you have those conversations with your wife. You're like, we're going to try this, and that was a fantastic conversation because it was like, babe, we figured it out. This is going to work. And, from there, we just started offering more and more stuff, reaching out to more and more brokerages, because the bottom line is, guys, every business struggles with something. Every business, every brokerage, every agent struggles with something. And if we can help them with one thing that will help them grow their business, that's successful for me. So, then the first week was 12 agents, 12 brokerages. After that, we probably got a brokerage a month, almost at least every once a month that's came on. And the true testament is that we've only lost 2 brokerages, and one of them folded. One of them actually sold their brokerage to another company, and he exited the company. He exited. So I don't find that as a failure. I find that as, dude, he grew his business so much that he sold his company to somebody else, and he's now living the lifestyle he wants to live.
Right.
So I don't think that's a failure. I think it's great. And so, and there's a gazillion brokerages out there, right? Independent brokerages, franchise brokerages. You look in Lexington, Kentucky area. How many brokerages are there?
I heard of 2 today that I'd never heard of.
Right.
There's so many.
Well, I even know of, basically agents where it's just them, right?
Oh, yeah.
They just basically have
their
their
solo
own
broker license.
They're solo. Yeah.
Yep. And they struggle.
Yeah.
Right. And they're like, how do I, and most of them do want to build a team of some sort. Right. And that's where growth happens. And you'll look across the board. There are some individual real estate agents that are absolutely killing the game. Like they're doing $500,000 a year in commissions. They're doing $800,000. Like they're killing it. The next level up is the teams. So if you can learn to build a team, then that's where I'm helping. I right now probably have 42 teams, 45 teams that consistently talk to me every week. Jeremy, how do I get this agent to do what I think they should be doing, right? And so the next level for the brokerage for agents is teams, and after that is a brokerage. So if you can be a successful team leader, you got the formula figured out. And if you want more responsibility, because don't get me wrong, brokers that are listening to this, you guys have a hard job. Like it's tough because you've got agents that are independent contractors underneath you. You can't control them, but your money is reliant on them. That's scary, right? Because I know a brokerage owner here in Lexington has like 60 to 70 agents, and you can't make them work. Right. You can only rely on that they're going to work for you to make money. And I think that's scary. So I think from my point of view on the broker owners we partner with, my point of view is saying, hey, let's just give them education. Let's give them training. Let's give them the tools to make them successful. And then encourage them as a broker owner. Your job is to encourage, as a business owner, your job is to encourage other people.
Yeah.
Right. You see businesses fail because the business owner didn't encourage their people.
Yep.
Bottom line.
It's all about people. So, say I'm a broker and I sign up to be part of your program. What do I get?
Love it. Good question. So we're doing, let's say, for example, you're a broker and you sign up for our program. You're going to get a launch package. So we are going to launch our program to your agents. So we don't want you to have to worry about promoting it to your agents. So we do something called launch call. So in 2 weeks, we're going to do a launch call with our agents. We're going to send them a promo video. We're going to send them an announcement video of all the tools and resources that now, because the broker owner has invested in this program for their agents, that's the wording we use, because we do believe that you're making an investment in them. So we encourage them. We have a large launch call, and then they get access to our member portal. They get weekly live workshops. So every Wednesday at 12 o'clock, you're going to rely that I'm going to be teaching a live workshop to them. So you could have 100 agents, you could have 50 agents, I don't care, right? Most brokers, they bring all their agents in the office. So they say, hey, we're going to host this training every Wednesday at 12 o'clock in our office on Zoom, right? Big screen, agents all around. And then after the training, the broker will talk about with the agents what they learned. And so now you've got value as a broker owner, right? From the education that I taught from the membership.
Right.
So that's what most of broker owners do. But also agents attend from their home because everybody works remotely now, right? We live in a world of remote. So most agents are attending from home. Some agents are attending in the broker office, the offices. And then you also get social stuff. So for example, agents struggle with social media, right? Most people struggle with social media in general, right? So we give them 15 social graphics to post every month. We also give them what to post if they want to use that, as well as what hashtags to post. So we give that to them every single month. We also give them a monthly newsletter. So I'm going to give you the newsletter. You just have to send it out to your database. So we write it. All you have to do is make it a little more personal, add some local events to it, and then send it out to your database. Because 92% of agents don't send a monthly newsletter out. I'm like, wow. What the heck? Right? That's one piece, one touch that they could be making they're not getting. So we also do that. We also provide an agent review platform. That's a program we wrote. I've worked with the developer for almost 2 years on it. And so we give them this agent review platform to allow them to get more Google reviews. I can stay on a soapbox about Google, but I know that Google is where people are found, right? Because if I search best restaurant in Lexington, Kentucky, what am I going to find, right? If I search best insurance agency in Lexington, Kentucky, what am I going to find, right? If I can't get in the top pack of Google, we have a problem. And so this review platform will help them get in that top pack when people search best realtor in their city. So we give them that platform. That's included.
Kind of want to search best realtor.
I know. You're like, what am I going to do? And so, we also provide on-demand libraries. So if agents can't attend because they're busy, right? Busy people. And so if they can't attend, they can watch the library live on our membership portal. So we have over 90 workshops in that as well. And I can tell you exactly who they probably are. And they probably have green check marks beside their names if you're searching it.
New Home Collections, brokered by EXP.
What I tell you earlier.
Nick Ratliff, Realty Team, Allnut Group at the
Now, let me
agency.
tell you something special about all three of those.
And I've never even heard of those before.
I'm going to tell you something special about those. So those people are paying for Google local services. So we help agents set up Google local services. So they're paying for them to be on that list. And so when you pick, let's say you pick one, you call them, right? If they talk to you for 15 seconds or longer, they're paying for that phone call. So they paid for that lead. So it's basically they're investing anywhere from $150 to $800 a month to be on that list.
Here's another list that is like off an individual website. Shane Underwood, Nick Radliff,
on there again.
Michelle Guntner, Robin Jones, Cynthia Turgo.
Now look at the reviews. How many reviews?
A lot.
Is there a massive amount, like over 100?
All over 100.
Okay. Yeah, all over 100.
So now we're wondering why that is, because reviews are the key element for Google right now. So we built that platform for agents to get them more reviews. So
right. That's included. And the difference between the top 8 on there and anything after that is like massive. It goes from like 150 reviews down to 50.
Isn't it crazy?
And yeah, that is crazy.
So I can get an agent.
And then Dave Ramsey Solutions has his suggested
and he pays for
real estate agents. Yep. And that's a sponsored ad at the very top.
You got it. And so it's cool how that all works. In fact, that right now, if I pick an agent out, let's say you're brand new to the industry, you just started, and you start with me. I'm going to give you reviews. I'm going to get you to get your postman to give you a review. I'm going to go get you to give your hairdresser to give you a review. I'm going to get you at least 60 reviews in the first 6 months. And you will automatically become a top real estate agent in the city within about a year. Just off of reviews. It's scary.
Reviews really do play a big part. I mean, we do a lot of them here. Like we try to get reviews on everything. And I mean, when we started, it's like, all right, a lot of the insurance agencies around here, not many reviews. Like some of the bigger national brokerages, like sure, they'll have a couple hundred, right? So we're like, all right, let's try to just really get that going.
Crush it.
And so we used to, automate after, here, click this link, give us a quick little review. And it kind of worked. But then what I started doing was, if I bring on a client, I'm sending them their final documents, right? Yep. At the end of that, I just inserted in that because I knew they'd look at it because they were looking at the email with info they needed. Put that there. All of a sudden, it's just like almost every time.
There's 2 places we tell agents.
And after we've been around 5 years, we're like almost 250 reviews.
You're massive.
And it took no time.
And what the key is with real estate agents, what they understand is you get them when the customer's happy, right? So there's 2 places you ask for a review. And if agents are listening to this is what you should do, okay? When are clients the happiest? When is your client the happiest? When in a real estate transaction? One, when you get the clear to close, right? When you get the offer accepted.
Probably after the closing.
So as soon as the offer accepted, you send this message saying, hey, do me a favor. And, I work off reviews. Do me a favor and leave me a quick review. You're going to get an amazing 5-star review after that, right? Or after the closing table happens, you just signed the last paperwork. It's official. You're a homeowner. If you would text them right there at the table, hey, I'm going to text you a link real quick. You mind leaving me a quick review? They'll leave you an amazing positive review, right? Unless you just suck, then don't ask for a review. But, that's what it's about. And so what our platform offers is all those tools, all those resources at, a very nominal fee for a broker owner to get for all their agents on. And so we're going to keep adding to that. Like we just put in there toolboxes full of AI prompts and scripts, video scripts, and like it's loaded down with tools and resources agents can use. And so we just promote that every week. The broker owner now has a resource because that's where they struggle at. As a broker owner, you struggle providing value to your agents. But if they would, smart broker owners, they would go to my platform, they would pick out one of the documents we loaded up 6 months ago, then they would present it to their agents like it's brand new that they did it, right? And they give it to their agents.
So I just searched restaurants in Georgetown.
All right.
And it literally listed the restaurants with the honest reviews in order through the first about 8.
Isn't that crazy?
And then it started getting
varies after that.
And then it started varying after that. But
the top 3 is who gets the phone calls, by the way.
Right.
And that's any business. So if you search, and you can't search agents struggle. I tell this agent all the time. An agent said, I just searched my name. Guess what? It came right up. I said, yes, you're in your office.
Yeah, of course it is.
You're sitting in your office and you searched your name. Yes. Don't do that. Go 5 miles from your office, right? Go 5 miles from your office. Search best in whatever you are in the city. That's who the true people are getting the searches. They're getting the reviews. That are getting the clicks. They're getting the business. And if you can't become that, if your goal is not to be that, we have a problem.
So you said Google lists it by the ones that are getting the most calls.
So there's 2 options to Google list it. So I could take you right now and I could put you on the Google local services. It's a paid ads, right?
Right.
And I could get you in the top 3 pack, which you saw the top 3 people on that list. Mm-hmm. I can get you in that top 3 pack probably in 2 months, right? So you'll get phone calls. Or I could organically, no, you don't pay me. You don't pay Google. I could organically get you by getting more reviews.
Right.
By improving your Google business page. So every business should have a Google business page. That's number 1. But number 2, you can actually put offers on the Google business page. As real estate agents, you can actually put the homes you sold on the Google business page. So if you looked at you pulled up 2 agents, right? One has all these homes they've sold, all these things they've done over here, and this one's blank. Who are we going to pick?
Right.
We're always going to pick this person. And that's how the whole process works.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, for us, we wouldn't want to get calls because typically when we get calls,
it's bad.
It's a complaint because we don't do call-in orders.
Yep.
So, I could see a Malone's where they do call-in carry-out orders or reservations, whatever.
Yep.
They would want to get calls. If we get calls, it's bad news.
Well, instead of just calls, you change it in the Google local services ads. You're getting website visits.
Yeah,
you're getting, and that takes a whole other plate because
mobile order visits.
Because now Google knows. By the way, and for those who listen to this podcast don't know this, Google knows how many people visit your website every single day.
Yeah, I get a report every month.
Yeah, right there. Google Analytics tells you this stuff. And so what's cool about this is the more traffic you can send to your website, the more Google thinks, oh, this business is more important than this other business.
Right.
And that's the same thing for real estate. It's the same thing for any business. You just got foundationals, and that's what we teach. Foundational setups, get your business successful. But then again, it's all about implementation at the end. So you can listen to me all day long, right?
Yeah. One of the metrics I actually look at every month is how many calls we get, going back to the whole complaints thing.
Yep.
I'll look at we get, customer feedback reports. So I'll look at our accuracy scores and our experience of problem scores. And then I'll look at how many calls we got and see if that's up or down.
So it correlates.
Because typically it correlates.
Yep, it is. And that's really how it is. Now, for an agent, it's a little different. I want every phone call.
Right.
Like as a real estate agent or a broker owner, I want to take them all because I'm going to convert them. Because if you feel good, right? If you're an agent that's confident in what you do and show your value, I want every one of them because I'm going to convert some of them. Now, some agents are scared of phone calls. Some agents don't have the value. They don't want to know what to say. But others that are confident in what they do, bring them on, right? Load me down because I'm going to convert 1 out of every 10 of them. I'm going to get, a $300,000 listing off of 1 out of every 10 or 1 out of the 20. And by the way, I saw a number the other day that blew my mind that internet leads only are at a 0.8% conversion rate for real estate agents. 0.8. I was like,
So is that including like Zillow leads kind of stuff? Because I know a lot of agents that, they kind of live off those, but they just grind, right?
They do. And so Zillow leads are a big deal, but there's a lot of agents that switch. There's 40, I can give you 60 lead generation companies right now that real estate agents are paying to do. The problem is agents are relying on that, and that's not sustainable income coming in for the next 5, 6, 7 years. Because if Zillow switches what they're doing, what happens to you?
Right.
You're screwed. So what's the best way to do? Focus on your own business. You build relationships, put your relationships in your database, and market to the people that already know you, like you, trust you. We've heard that, right? And so that's a sustainable income. It's not sustainable by leads. And for those agents out there listening and think that's a bunch of bull crap, I hear what you're saying, right? It's sustainable for right now. But if that lead generation company decides to fold, or if that lead generation company decides to do something different or charge you 20% more next year,
right,
you just hurt your bottom line.
Yeah.
I'm all about focusing on businesses, help agents focus on their own business.
The real estate agents I think about the most are the ones that reach out to me.
That's correct.
So, and that,
you're right.
That doesn't have to be direct reaching out, but there's about 2 or 3 that I can think of that
social
are
media
on my
posts.
social media, and they're just posting all the time. They're posting a walkthrough of the house that they're walking through, or they just, posted a happy family in front of a house that they just bought.
Yep.
Or they send me a newsletter somehow. Or they send me a birthday card or something.
And that's the ones you're going to remember, though. When someone looks at you, if I came to you and I said, yeah, I'm moving to Lexington, I really need an agent, who you got? And as soon as I say that, you're going to picture somebody in your head.
Right.
And the question is, as agents, are we putting pictures in people's heads to think, who can I send this to? Because 75% of all real estate transactions are done via referral, meaning someone told somebody about you.
Right. And that's why you have to stay top of mind.
Always. And that's not just real estate agents. That's business in general, right?
Exactly.
Insurance. Yeah. That's about restaurants. It's about anything.
If I want my team to focus on cleanliness and
that's right.
Customer service, then I got to talk about how to interact with guests, and I got to talk about things that we need to clean all the time. And if I don't keep that top of mind, then they're going to forget about it 20 days later.
Yeah, and things are going to go down. You get more phone calls, and it's not going to be good.
What is? Do you have a story of like an agent that's like the best one you've seen? Like you started working with them.
Yep.
They're doing like nothing.
Yep.
You don't have to like share their name or anything, but it's like, the biggest success story you've seen.
Tell you what, there's an agent. I'll just share it briefly. There's an agent that came. They're in, I think they're in the Jacksonville, Florida area. So I think they were, and they've been an agent for like 8 years, right? So they knew business, and so but they wanted to hit these goals. I think their goal was to hit $150,000 commission this year. That was what they wanted to do, and so they came in and said, Jeremy, look, I'm going to pay you. I need you to help me. Help me figure my systems and processes out. One, she was not using a CRM. She did $100,000 without using a CRM.
Can you tell our guests what a CRM is?
CRM is a a customer relationship management tool.
Okay.
So basically, anybody in your database, you throw them into a database. That's what it was.
Right.
So she was running off pen and paper. I was like... I was having like heart convulsions after that. I was like, okay, wait, let's fix that first. So we went to her and we set up her systems and processes. One, we built a website for her that she barely used. She had one, but she didn't use it. So we built her a website. We got it up and going. We set a CRM up for her, systems and processes. Within 60 days, we had anywhere from 40 to 60 organic traffic leads coming in from her website. That alone dominated for her. Right. So then we taught her how to use market reports. So she took I think she had like 2,000 people in her database after we got all set up and everything, pulled all her phone contacts, took everybody she had people know and put them in her database. And we set her up on a market report. So every person in her database, I gave her a goal. In the next 3 months, I need you to go in and sign a market report, which is a bi-weekly email that says what homes are currently for sale in their area, right? Set them up on a market report and go bi-weekly email. That's what it was about. She went through and she set up a bi-weekly email for 2,000 people. So after that fourth month, 4,000 emails went out to her database. She had barely sent emails before all this. Now she has traffic coming to her website. So they've opened the email. Oh, by the way, people love homes. They just do. So you open the email.
My wife and I do that for fun.
Yeah, even if you're not looking for homes, you're going to click homes, right? So opens the email up now. So 4,000 of these are going out. Somebody opens it up. They click on a home. Ooh, I like that. That's in my neighborhood. Ooh, click on it. They go to her website. Her website knows who these people are now because they're in her database. And so it sends it to her dashboard. And now she knows that you are looking at a property before you even call her, before you even talk to her. So as a real estate agent, now you are taking the advantage here and saying, oh, text message. Hey, Susan, just checking in. Haven't talked to you in a while. Hey, you know what? I just looked at this property. You're not telling you're snooping. You're not telling you saw that they clicked on a property. You're checking in, right? So if she checks in with 40 people 1 week, she's going to get a deal. And so now she, not the 150,000 she wanted, within that first year, she crushed $225,000 in commission. And she's going nonstop now. She's already brought 2 people on her team in the past 2 years. So now she's teaching those people what we taught her, and it's a system that's working. And so it's all about functionality. It's all about
So in
systems.
1 year, she was up 125%.
Oh, yeah. And she had paid me $250 a month. I felt like I was underpaid.
Yeah, it sounds like a pretty good ROI to me.
It was perfect for her. And I think that, but it's not every agent like that, right?
Right.
It's agents that want to listen, agents that know that they have problems that they need to fix. Because as a business owner, it's hard to admit you have issues or I'm struggling with some things. But I'm telling you what, the agents that get the most success are the agents that are the most vulnerable. The one that come in saying, I need help. I don't know how to do email marketing. I don't know how to do video marketing. I don't know how to do this. I don't know that, but I'm willing to learn.
Right.
And that's the agents that I'm finding that are getting the most success out of our program. Because look, we have 2,500 agents. 1,200 of those agents probably don't do a lot. Right? I'm just honest. But the other agents that are doing it and listening and implementing, growth out the wazoo.
I'd be interested, and I don't know if you've looked into this or not, or you probably have, but I bet you that agents that reach out to you directly instead of come through the broker probably are 10 times more successful.
Oh, they are. Because they're paying individually.
Because they're paying individually, and they got to a low enough point where they said, I need help, instead of being spoon-fed something somewhere else.
It's exactly true. Like the agents, I could go back and probably look at my numbers, right? And if I pulled a report for all the income and growth, yes, you would see that. Now, what I'm finding is great is the brokerages that not only pay for the program, but the brokerages that like lock in with me.
Right, adopt it.
And really say, hey, we could take these tools and we can give them to my agents. Now, there's brokers that pay me that they probably haven't logged in probably 6 months, right? But there's also brokers that log in every week and they take the tools I send to them, to their agents, and then they push the value back out. So, hey, and they'll do a video like the Thursday after I do my workshop, they jump on and do a video on their Facebook group of their agents. And they'll be like, hey, let's do a little recap, guys, of what Jeremy talked about, because I think this is really important. Here's the top 3 things I learned from this message. And if you implement this, blah, blah, blah. That's what we're finding success in.
I saw a social media post the other day from a coach, and he said something along the lines of, one of the hardest jobs being coach is knowing when you need to fire a client.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, you don't want to lose that income, but if they're not going to use the tools and products, they're not going to promote your business. And the time that I'm investing in them is wasted. And so I want to find more clients that are passionately using the products that I'm encouraging. So then they will tell their friends and then actually grow the business. Because I don't grow with dead weight. I grow with people that are like on fire. And so I thought that was really interesting, because it's like, yeah, you might not be having to do much work for them if they're subscribing to a subscription-based model and they're just like part of it. But at the same time, that's not bringing you joy and it's not helping you grow the business. So if you can focus your energy and results on people that are actively wanting to do it, then they're going to tell their friends. And then you're going to have more people on. I mean,
ultimately, I would love to have a case study, at the end of the year that has 150 agents that they grew their business 25%, right?
Right.
I would rather have that than, an extra 200 people on my membership.
Yeah.
I want success. I feed off that. And that's what makes me, do my research every week, that build my workshops, build my slides every week, because I truly do want them to be successful. And I think that's what we're looking for. We're looking for partners. And that's why I changed the name from membership to partners. Because I truly believe if you're a partner with somebody, then you have investment in the business. And I truly, maybe my brokerages don't feel this way, but I truly feel I'm invested my time, my results into their business. And so if I see that they're struggling, I struggle too. I'm like, dang it, how do I help them? Right. And so I think that when we switched from a membership status to a partnership status, it did make a difference.
Yeah.
Because, when I make phone calls and you sign up, I'm like, hey, look, I want to be your help. I want to help you. I don't want to just you subscribe, because there's plenty of coaches out there and plenty of membership programs out there that you can subscribe to. I don't want that.
Right.
I want you to feel like you are part of it. And that's why, honestly, we have a live chat on our workshop, on our membership portal, that they can live chat with me. And guess what? My phone is I don't know where my phone is now, but it's went off probably 20 times since I've been sitting here. And after this call, I'm going to go off, and I've got some people on my team that answer those phone calls. But I'm also going to go back through and I'm going to check every one of them. And I'm going to be like, okay, is this something I can add value to? And I'm going to answer those. And is it something easy? Short. I'll let my team do it. But if it's something I can show value in, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Because that's why I built what I did. And maybe there's a limit to that, right?
Yeah.
Maybe one day I'll go back and I'll be like, okay, this is a lot. And I may cap my membership out at 4,000 agents, right? I may say, I'm not taking on anymore. And one day that may happen. But until then, and I don't feel like I'm dying every day, I'm going to keep focusing.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about some of the laws that were changed in Kentucky. I know you're not limited to Kentucky, but some of the laws that were been changed in Kentucky. And how about, you're probably going to do the best way of describing it. So you describe what laws change, and then how do you think it's going to affect agents, and what's kind of your thoughts and strategies moving forward?
So the bottom line, guys, is that, these sellers got together, and I can't remember, Utah or somewhere, there's one state out in the West, right? These sellers got together and they said, these agents are screwing us over. And they were very much encouraged by attorneys, because, by the way, attorneys made the most money on this whole NAR lawsuit. If anybody don't know what this is, basically the attorneys got with these sellers and they sued real estate agents for over commission, because the buyer's agent came in and they did a transaction with the seller's agent. And if you hire a seller's agent, you hire an agent to represent your property, right? Should you pay for the buyer's agent?
Yeah.
And so that's where they came in. The lawsuit happened. NAR came into it, which NAR is like a big real estate organization that like fights the laws for agents, stuff like that. Some agents are part of it. Some agents aren't. And so you can either be a realtor with the R and you're part of NAR, or you're not. And so this organization basically lost the lawsuit, right? The DOJ came in and said, we want a piece of this too. So, in which they all do, right? They came in and they knocked it out. And so the big thing that changed on August 17th, you cannot, as a real estate agent, you cannot list what commission you're giving to the buyer's agent on the listing. So before August 17th, you could have logged in and looked on it as a public. The public could have logged in and looked at 520 Harlan Drive, the address of the properties that's for sale, and been like, oh, so they're giving 3% to the buyer's agent. So as a buyer's agent that represents a buyer, I can take that buyer to that property, and I know I'm going to make 3%. Right? That's changed now. So now, as a buyer's agent, I have to. By the way, we've always negotiated commissions. I don't care what anybody said.
Right. That's not new.
That's not new. It's not changed even, right? The public thinks that, oh, it's changed now. No, I can always negotiate what I get paid, right? Like if I went to a buyer, I'm a buyer's agent, I went to a buyer, I'm like, hey, I charge 4%, just to let you know. Well, that's a little steep. Okay, I tell you what, 3.5%, right? I'll do it 3.5%, we'll make a deal. And so that hasn't changed. But the problem is now an agent, a buyer's agent, has to reach out to the listing agent now and sit on the phone and say, hey, what are you paying? Is your seller willing to pay me 3% if I bring you a buyer? And they can say, no. And what that means is the buyer's agent has to get that fee from somewhere. They've got to get it from the buyer. So if you buy a $300,000 property, you may have to pay the buyer's agent, your agent, 3% more of that property to represent you, right? Now, I'm going to see things change soon. I believe you're going to see Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, the government organizations that give loans out. You're going to see you be able to lump that 3% into your loan. You wait and see. So now as a buyer's agent, let's say you want to buy a property, just add 3% more onto your loan. And that's how I'm going to get paid as a buyer's agent. It's coming. Australia does it. United Kingdom does it. All the larger organizations, all the bigger countries out there, they do that. That's how they pay for their people. We just haven't done it in the United States. It's coming because of these new changes.
That makes sense.
You know, the buyer's agent is going to get paid. Like, you're not going to work for free. Now, there's been, I heard a story yesterday that an agent brought a buyer to a property, a $650,000 property. Didn't ask the agent if they're going to get paid. Didn't negotiate anything. Got to the closing table. And the buyer says, I'm not paying you. The seller says, I'm not paying you. The agent worked for over a month with all this stuff, and they got paid $0 because they didn't do their due diligence, because they didn't do the job that they should have. They didn't show their value. They didn't get in contract now. And so now in Kentucky, it's required that if you're a buyer's agent and you're working with a buyer, before I show you a property, you have to get a contract signed of how you're going to get paid. That's the new change. So if you call me up tomorrow, I'm a real estate agent. You call me up, you say, hey, Jeremy, can you show me that property? Let's go look at it. My next answer is, sure. Let's sign this buyer's agent agreement real quick. So, you know, you and I are in agreement that if you like this property, you want to buy it, I'm getting my 3%. But I will call the agent. I'll call the client first. I'll call the listing agent first to find out if I'm going to get the money from them first, right? Because you would rather sign it if somebody else is paying for my bill, right?
Yeah.
All day long. But what if they say no?
That might get more houses listed though too, because my wife and I have talked about this. Like, man, you know, how long do we need to stay in our house to where the equity value, it's worth it to pay 6% in realtor fees and then also like make money off our house.
But you're also going to find agents who are going to be double-sided things now. So if I'm your listing agent, you come to me and say, I'm not paying a buyer's agent. I'll pay you 3%, right? I'll pay you 3%. I think you're worth 3%. I'm not paying anybody else though. So now what am I going to do? I'm going to promote the crap out of your property. I'm going to blow it up, right?
Right.
And then now I'm going to get the buyer. I'm going to get the seller. It'll happen. Now, some agents back away from that because it's hard to represent two different parties, right? It's hard to represent the best interest of the buyer and the best interest of the seller. And there's states that don't let you do that. I think Nevada and there's some other states that don't let you represent both. Kentucky does.
I don't know. I kind of like that sometimes, to be honest, because there's motivation on both sides.
Oh, I agree. I like having both. I like having two different people. Because then you're like, oh, fighting. I'm going to fight for my best interest of my client. And that's really what it's about. Agents are losing their crap over all these new changes. And honestly, if things change in your industry, you can either what? You can roll with it and get it done and do what needs to be done. Or you can say, no, I hate this crap. This is horrible. Negative like crazy.
Adapt or die.
I've seen so many negative posts on Facebook. And I mean, agents follow me all the time. And so I see all these agents in my feed. And I almost like flip my lid when I read through these things like negative. Oh, that's a positive. That's a good agent. Negative. Because it feeds. Right. And if you're negative on social media, guess what? I'm probably not going to go with you. if you're positive and you know what you're doing and you're going to adapt to these changes, you're my person.
Well, the rules changed and
nothing we can do about it.
There's nothing you can do about it. So you got to figure it out and roll with it and figure out how to make it work for you. And if you can't, then you need to change careers,
Bottom line.
Yeah.
That's it.
On the buyer's agreement, one more quick question on it. So you want to go show the property, right? All right, cool. Sign this. Well, you realize, all right, that property they're paying, the seller will pay.
Yep.
You don't get that property, you go to a different one. Do they have to sign a different agreement for each property?
Yep. You're amending the contract again.
So basically each house we're going to go look at, you're going to amend the contract.
You definitely, yep. Now there is an option out there that a buyer
Thank God there's DocuSign.
Oh my God. Digital signature for the world, right?
Oh my gosh.
There's older people though, they're buying homes, 50, 60, 70-year-olds, 80-year-olds. They will not do a digital signature. It's happening.
I know.
So can you imagine, you're going to make your 3%, by the way, if you have to go and physically to their house 5 times to get different contracts signed, different amendments signed. Oh, that just wears me out right there thinking about it. And so, bottom line is, here's for agents that don't know how to make this change. Show your freaking value. Bottom line. Every transaction, tell them what you do and how you're going to get it. Are you going to communicate better? Or are you going to, but also I love the fact that now, instead of just hiring a buyer's agent, you're going to find buyers that are interviewing buyer's agents. And now there's a competition because, because now if I tell you, hey, here's what I'm going to do for you. Here's a list of all the things I'm going to do for you as a buyer's agent. And this other person over here says, I'll set you up on a subscription. Shin's your homes. Oh gosh, you're not getting paid nothing. I'm going to hire this guy, right? So now the competition happens.
Well, and something else, I think a lot of people, before it was great if you were a seller's agent because you're pretty much guaranteed, you're
going to get paid.
You're going to get paid at some point, right? But now I think that's going to probably drive people more to wanting to be a seller's agent because they can get that guarantee commission.
Yes, I agree.
And so there's going to be a lot more competition on people
getting listings,
a lot more competition. Because to me, as a realtor, it'd probably be more fun being a buyer's agent than a seller's agent because you're showing homes, you're finding somebody their dream home. It's fun and exciting. You're helping, you feel like you're helping someone. Or when you're a listing agent, you're just like responding to
promoting the property,
responding to the inquiries and promoting the property and blah, blah, blah. Like it's not as exciting. It's not as fun.
Yep.
But you at least get a guaranteed check where if you're not listing now, it's
going to be hard.
It's gray area. Right. And so I feel like you're going to see realtors maybe even like knocking on doors. Hey, do you want to list your house? You
should.
I'd love to list your house for you, type thing.
Well, the good realtors are going to take advantage of this.
Right.
And they're going to send out mailings to the neighborhoods. I call them farming. They're going to farm neighborhoods.
Right.
They're going to do it the right way. But here's the deal. Whoever's on it first is going to get these listings. So you can sit back and wait, or you can actually drive to get business. And that's, I think you're going to find. And honestly, I think that in general, real estate is going to take a hit. I think in amount of agents in the marketplace, I think that some agents are going to make it, right?
Right.
And they're going to fall through, which gives more money and more listings and more opportunity for these agents that are actually doing it.
And typically on social media, when I see someone like posting on social media that's a real estate agent, they're posting like, we just help these people, they have the classic key.
The classic key or the house.
And they're in front of the house, right? You hardly ever see them post a picture of some house that says just sold.
You don't.
Right. I feel like I see the key way more than the sold.
Because it's a relationship. It's a person in front.
Right. And so I feel like people are really now going to be promoting, hey, I sold.
You should.
This now instead of the key.
It's going to
switch.
It will, because people want to be like, they sold that for that. I live in that neighborhood. I want that for my home. I'm going to call that agent.
Or this person's, wow, they sold 15 homes this month. Like they know how to sell.
That's correct. That's why on Google, it's one of the biggest things I teach agents now. I just did a class last week about it, is you can put your listings on your Google business page. Because if you go in there and I search for your name or search for, let's say somebody recommends you, I'm going to Google.
Right.
Always. And then I'm going to say, holy crap, they sold all these homes, or they were part of this transaction, all these homes.
But yeah, you go onto somebody's website and you just see sold. You're going to be like, well,
they're a seller.
I want to use them, But if you don't see much on there, it's like, the people that are scared to post their track record probably don't have a
track record. Right. And I think if you search real estate agents right now, you did a Google search and you spend some time and you search every agent's website, 95% of them don't list what they sold. They don't.
Right.
And I'm like, what the frig?
It's like at most you'll see what they currently have listed.
Oh, yeah.
Right. But not past. No. Oh, sold.
Yeah. And do you know what gets me the most business? People that tell other people how awesome I am. The reviews. Like, honestly, when I post reviews that I've got on my Facebook or on Instagram or wherever, that's where I get phone calls from. That's where I get emails from. And that's where we have to sell our success stories more often. And if agents would just tell a story more often, be storytellers, they'll get more business.
Well, exciting times.
Love it, man.
Exciting times. So what's next for you? Where do you see your business going?
Sure.
Maybe, your 5-year plan, your vision. And then also, what do you think you guys are going to do maybe a little bit differently now that this law's passed?
I think we just for last week released a buyer's agent packet. So basically a marketing packet. We had like tons of marketing tools and resources for buyer's agent. We give them the resources they need, right? So that's one. That was one helpful tool we were able to give out. And then we teach on it, right? Because if the broker owners don't teach on it, that leaves the agents not having a clue. So we're really focusing on what can agents do to grow their businesses. So we're piling into that. We're really pushing hard on using automation. That's our next year plan, honestly, is teaching agents how to automate their business. Because who in the heck wants to run a business that, they say, for example, they get tons of sales. They get nothing for 3 months. Tons of sales, nothing for 3 months. That's a roller coaster of emotions that a business owner would have to go through. For us, we want to build up automations where there's got substantial income coming in consistently across the board all 12 months.
Right.
And so we're really focusing on automating people's businesses. So over the next probably 3 to 6 months, we're going to be doing a lot of workshops, a lot of classes on automation in general. So for example, if you get a lead coming in, they should get a welcome email going out automatically. If a lead comes in, they should be getting a video to automatically go out, right? We're trying to, because there's no way in heck these agents are going to remember to do this crap. We have to set systems and processes up. So that's what my next 6 to 9 months looking like. We've got new tools rolling out. We just built an AI bot. We just built a new, we're updating our agent review platform to offer more platforms. So we just built it out now. You can do Yelp reviews. You can do Google reviews. You can do, because by the way, Yelp is not big here, but it's massive in Chicago. It's massive in like Fort Lauderdale. It's massive in these other bigger cities. And so we're adding those tools to just enhance what other people are doing. Big plan, guys. Give me 5 years. My goal is probably to be a lot more traveling and speaking in front of people, a lot more people. Love talking in conferences, love talking in that kind of stuff. But one just brings more opportunity to get in front of agents.
Yeah.
And who the heck doesn't want more of that?
Right.
So yeah. I think you'll see a lot of that. I think you'll see a lot more personal touches. I think for me and my business, what I want to do is touch people more personal. So if I have to charge them more to do that, that's fine. But I do want to touch them more personal so that I can physically grow their business.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about that a little bit off camera, that, doing a more personalized, or
more
evolving your one-on-one approach or investing more into that maybe in the future.
And I think that's what we're going to look at. I think we just got to figure out, I can only be at one place so many right? You can only be but one thing, you only have that so much time, right? Mm-hmm. So what do? You bring more people on, which we have a team of 6 now. We have some automation people in the back. We have people that work overseas for us, and I've got local people that are killing it for me. And so we built a large team that supports those agents. But I think that if we could do more one-on-one attention, that's a game changer.
Right.
Because if you can call me up and say, Jeremy, here's my problem. I'll be like, hey, here's your solution.
Right.
That's a game changer.
Because the materials and everything you're providing are there and they're good and there's nothing going against that. But it all boils down to what you're relying on right now is the brokers doing their job to hold their agents accountable to using your stuff. And when you can break that down on an individual level, you can provide a lot more success. And that's what gets your juices flowing.
I agree.
Is when you can make someone like truly see the results and successful.
You know, the last thing before we head out is I got a phone call yesterday morning, probably about, 8:30, something like that, 9 o'clock. And it was a call from an agent that implemented one of the farming techniques that we taught. And they said, Jeremy, I just got a $1.2 million listing because of it was like an $800 postcard mailing he put out. And he was stressed because it was $800. He was like, I don't know if this is going to work or not. And he put it out and he got a $1.2 million listing. What's 3% of $1 million? Woo, it's a good paycheck, right? It's over $30,000 he's going to make on this one $800 postcard. And I said, are you going to send the $800 postcard out next month? He said, absolutely I am. He's going to do 2 of them now. And so those are success stories. I'm like, that gets me excited.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, even if that $800 postcard was a $3,000 deal.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter because at the end of the day, if you can do 5,000 of those in a year because you know the formula works and you know you're going to get a lead every single time you spend $800 and you at least get $3,000 on the back end, all you got to do is just figure out how to do more of those.
That's right.
Right. And so like, it's just basic math. Like if you can turn a profit on that and you know you're going to get a consistent lead every time.
I tell agents all the time,
like, why not just keep doing
marketing is math. It's just, you got to figure out what's working, what doesn't work.
Right.
Yeah.
And we want the X to show up more than the negatives show up. No minuses. We want lots of X's to times and multiply.
As long as you know it works, then why not just keep doing it?
That's right. Until things change and the market does shift and things make changes, you have to adapt and you make changes with it.
Right.
I love it.
Awesome. Well, is there anything you want to add before we sign off?
You know, I think the bottom line is, guys, just if you're a real estate agent or you're a broker owner and you listen to this call, the deal is, guys, you have people out there that's willing to support you.
Yeah.
You have people that, like, honestly, I would love to have a conversation with them. I would love to sit down with them. And honestly, I had a conversation with a broker owner last week and we ended up deciding it wasn't a good fit. It happens.
Yeah.
And I think that's the bottom line, is help agents and realize that these are independent contractors that you have to put time and value into. And there are businesses out there that do that. And so we're here to help.
Yeah. And kind of going back to what we've talked about 2 or 3 times is I truly believe everybody needs some sort of accountability. And, Warren Buffett or whoever has always said, or just people in general have said, you are who you hang out with, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you hang out with a coach who's helping you be successsul, then you're probably going to be more successful, right?
There's a good
that is
that's going to
now
happen
in your field of influence. Yeah. So, I mean, as long as you have the time and the energy and you're willing to use the resources that are being provided to you, it never's not. It's always going to make sense.
And I think I look at it all the time. It's like, I don't know what a meal at McDonald's costs now. For my family, it's like $40 or $50. The prices went up at McDonald's, by the way. I used to say a meal at McDonald's for a family is $20. That's changed. Now it's $40 bucks. But, we charge $39 a month. Is your time worth, is your business worth to try $40 a month, right? And then for the broker owners, we start at $500. Right. Is your agents worth $500 for you?
Yeah.
It's worth a shot. And we don't do contracts. That's a little different than my business. We don't do contracts. So it's month to month. So if you're not happy, I'm not happy. And you can literally stop the contract right there. You can stop the membership right there. And thank goodness we have only had 2 people stop away from. So
how many people are in your family?
So I've got 3 boys and my wife. So But now these are growing boys. I got a 19-year-old, I've got a 16-year-old, and I got a 12-year-old. So it does add about 40 some bucks.
Yeah, I was about to say the family of 4 meal at McDonald's is $28 right now. So
not for me.
Well, that's 2 adult meals and 2 Happy Meals.
Oh, we don't have Happy Meals. So none of my kids do Happy Meals anymore.
I know how you're getting there now. When you start talking restaurants, I can fact check you pretty quick.
No Happy Meals, no $6.99 meals for me. We're all at the $10 level at least.
Yeah. Just come to Culberson.
That's right. That's what we need to come to cheaper.
We might not be cheaper, but we had better value.
Ain't that the truth? We go through it a lot.
Oh, man. All right. Well, I really appreciate you coming on. It's a great episode and shared a lot of wisdom. If you're a real estate agent out there, you know who to call.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all. You guys are awesome.
Thanks.
You.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.